Turns out everything is bigger in Texas, and that includes the ass-kissing being done by Governor Greg Abbott. This is just another day. Texas is known for a lot of things: barbecue, cowboy hats, and now posing an existential threat to democracy.
Greg Abbott is threatening to remove from office Democratic lawmakers who have fled the state to block redistricting efforts. More than 50 Democrats left the state yesterday afternoon, a move that will prevent the Texas House from having enough members needed to consider and pass legislation. They say they plan to stay out of Texas until August 19th, when the special session called by the governor comes to an end.
That's right. As of last night, more than 50 Texas Democratic legislators broke quorum in the special session called by Greg Abbott by leaving their state and flying to cities like Chicago, all in an effort to block Trump and Abbott's completely undemocratic move to redraw the districts ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, a move that would net Republicans up to 5 seats. Now, if legislators leaving Texas sounds familiar, you might be confusing it with the time Senator Ted Cruz left his state during a crisis, but this is different because these legislators left the state to prevent a crisis. Also, none of those lawmakers blamed one of their staffers for liking a porn tweet on 9/11. Something else we should never forget. Now, one of the worst parts about this move by the governor of Texas, besides the whole blatantly stealing elections part, is the way he's trying to spin it.
What these Democrats have done, just a small fraction of them were needed to break a quorum, and that small fraction is holding hostage legislation in the state of Texas where we will be able to provide assistance and reform for all of the victims of that horrific flooding that we've had in the state of Texas. Our fellow Texans are being let down and not getting the flood relief they need because these Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
Wow. You want to spin the lack of financial support being given to flood victims on Democrats? Last time I checked, the head of FEMA was in your party.
This entire agency needs to be eliminated as it exists today and remade into a responsive agency.
It is not the Democrats who are holding up disaster relief. It is the Trump administration that's decided that instead of the federal government doing what it's supposed to do by providing support to flood victims, one man would rather flood the streets with tanks for his birthday parade. But besides claiming that Democrats are to blame for a lack of relief funding, another tactic being used by Abbott is fining Democrats $500 per day for being out of state.
Very simply, it would be bribery if any lawmaker took money to perform or to refuse to perform an act in the legislature. And the reports are these legislators have been they sought money and they offered money to skip the vote, to leave the legislature, to take a legislative act. That would be bribery.
First of all, the Texas Democrats are not skipping town to get money. They left town and people are donating money to their cause. And if Greg Abbott is clutching his pearls over these supposed bribes, he's going to pop his top when he hears about what this tech founder turned convicted fraudster Trevor Milton got up to with Daddy Trump.
He's a huge Republican donor, and his pardon came roughly 5 months after he and his wife donated nearly $2 million to the Trump campaign.
Frankly, I think the worst thing Greg Abbott could do is accuse Democrats of taking bribes. Trump is such a fan of corruption, he might start trying to get them reelected. Donald Trump's entire life has been about bribes. I'm surprised he didn't name his children quid pro and quo. But look, Greg Abbott's piss-poor attempts to rationalize his shredding of the Constitution is all the proof you need that Donald Trump and the Republicans see their grip on power fading. Texas Republicans can't win on the merits of their policies, so instead, they redraw maps behind closed doors and then try and spin this as anything but an effort to steal future elections. Well, most Texas Republicans are trying to spin it. Some aren't even making the effort.
I am doing everything I can in my power as an elected member of the state of Texas to make sure that the state of Texas does everything in its power to make sure that Republicans hold on to a majority in the United States Congress. It's as simple as that.
Yep, not even hiding it. Don't you want to couch this in some forced piece of patriotic pablum or try and garner support by calling this Line Wars, a new map? Well, today, the time has finally come for the Texas legislature to start their session, and as promised, they put a bounty on the heads of Democrats.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Sergeant at Arms or officers appointed by her send for all absentees whose attendance is not excused for the purpose of securing and maintaining their attendance under warrant of arrest if necessary, and this order to be continued beyond the adjournment of today's session and until the further order of the House.
That is a shocking thing to hear, calling for the arrest of your colleagues. And since this is Texas, I bet they capped it off with some machismo move like firing pistols into the air or knocking their boots up and blasting George Strait through the State House.
Members, you've heard the motion. This is a record vote. Clerk, ring the bell. Sagarin voting aye.
Wow. Okay, look, this is an astonishingly dark day for Texas and our country as a whole, but just from a performance perspective, that bell does not meet the moment. Can I help you guys?
Members, you've heard the motion. This is a record vote. Clerk, ring the bell. Sagarin voting aye.
It's a start. But this move by Democrats to leave Texas, leave their families, leave their homes, is an effort to show the nation what they are willing to sacrifice for our democracy. Or, as Governor Abbott sees it,
they're leaving and they've left because they're very un-Texan. Texans don't run from a fight.
Running from a fight? Republicans are too afraid of what's going to happen in the midterms if they don't steal more seats, so they are rigging the system. If anyone is running, it's you. When Greg Abbott ran for governor, he told Texans that when it came to facing big challenges, anything was possible.
To Greg Abbott, anything is possible in Texas.
I'm not sure Texans knew that one of those things was taking a dump on the Constitution. The reality is, for all the flag waving and real America talk that goes on down in that state, what Greg Abbott and every other Republican following his lead are doing is the most un-American thing possible. The same way Don Jr. gave up on wearing a bra, they have given up on democracy and declared that they'd rather live in an autocracy helmed by Donald Trump. And now that that choice has been made, Democrats are left with no choice but to go scorched earth. If Republicans want to gain 5 seats in Texas, well, guess what? In California, we need to redraw the maps to gain all the seats. We should be gerrymandering so California is 52-0. The same goes for Illinois. The same goes for Maryland. The same goes for New York. Democratic governors like California Gavin Newsom and Illinois' J.B. Pritzker understand that this is not a problem that gets solved through debate or reason or by sending strongly worded letters to their Republican colleagues. Because when Donald Trump and the Republicans have shown the depths they are willing to go to undermine our electoral process and threaten our republic, you can't simply fight fire with fire. You have to make them regret pulling these moves in the first place. Because this is by no means the end of Donald Trump and Greg Abbott's efforts to subvert the will of the people. Remember,
to Greg Abbott, anything is possible in Texas.
And that should scare everyone. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.